Ever stuck your hand in a breaker panel only to find yourself completely shocked? Well, get ready for another kind of shock today. What AI is saying about you behind your back. I'm Leonard Parker, founder of Destiny Marketing Solutions, and today I'm pulling back the curtain on something that's silently rewiring how potential customers see your electrical business. If you're running an electrical services business, pulling in $200,000 or more annually, but you're not controlling what AI says about you, you're leaving money on the table. And unlike those loose, neutral, that easy to spot, this problem is hidden in plain sight. By the end of this video, I'll share an expert tip on how to literally train ChatGPT to recommend your business when people ask for electricians in your area. But first, we need to understand what's happening. Here's the thing most electrical contractors don't realize. You're already starring an AI story, whether you audition for the role or not. AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude are pulling data from every corner of the internet to answer questions about you and your industry. What's wild is that homeowners, contractors, and vendors are actively using these tools to find and evaluate electricians. Hey, ChatGPT, who's the best electrician in Phoenix? Is becoming as common as a Google search. The answers these tools provide are shaping trust, customer expectations, and most importantly, who gets called first. Here's the kicker. Most electricians have absolutely no clue they're being mentioned. It's like someone's writing your business biography without ever interviewing you. The bottom line, if you're not part of the online conversation, you're being defined by others, and that definition might not be something that you want. So what exactly is ChatGPT saying when someone asks about electricians in your area? I've spent months researching this, and here's what I found. ChatGPT often recommends electricians with strong review profiles and visible online content. It's pulling company names directly from directories like Yelp, Angie, and Google. If your business doesn't have a solid presence there, guess what? You simply don't exist in AI's world. When your business isn't mentioned, ChatGPT defaults to those generic find a licensed professional suggestions, sending potential customers straight into the arms of whoever has the strongest online presence. And here's what really burns my circuits. AI often overemphasizes large franchises or pulls outdated info from scraped directories. So the $200 million franchise with mediocre service gets the nod over your quality-focused local business. The takeaway is clear. AI rewards visibility, reputation, and consistent digital presence. It's not about who does the best work, it's about who tells the best story online. Now let's talk about when AI gets it wrong, because it does, frequently. AI summaries miss all the nuance of what makes your electrical business special. They treat all electricians as interchangeable parts, just like those generic outlets at the hardware store. It recycles myths like all electricians charge by the hour, or do-it-yourself electrical work is safe with supervision. Some of these misconceptions aren't just bad for business, they're dangerous for homeowners and business owners. Here's what should really make you sweat. AI favors volume over expertise. It ranks whoever appears most online, not who's best. The algorithm doesn't know the difference between an apprentice and a master electrician with 30 years of experience. This erosion of local authority favors national players who can afford to flood the internet with content, even if they subcontract to the same local pros they're stealing business from. The hard truth, you can't afford to let generalized, outdated info speak for you. That's like letting a first-year apprentice represent your business to your biggest client. Now, let's get back to controlling your AI narrative. To change the story, you need to know what's feeding it. ChatGPT's answers about electricians are influenced by several key sources. Your business profiles on Google, Yelp, House, and the Better Business Bureau. The content on your website that defines your services and expertise, Mentions in third-party articles, blogs, and customer reviews. This is a big one because these different AI and LLM tools, they look at these third-party authority sources as ways to get vetted information. So you want to make sure that not only are you minding your business profiles, your website, also looking for relevant opportunities to be mentioned on relevant third-party sources like relevant subreddits, websites like Electrician Talk, and so forth. FAQs and blog content that matches popular search queries. So this is something that could apply to content on your website, but also content on other sites. So you want to make sure if you're, for example, writing a blog on a specific topic, or if you have a service page, you want to make sure that you include frequently asked questions and answers to those questions, because people, they go to ChatGPT, Perplexity with question-based queries, what we call natural language search. And so if you have those questions on your pages, you are taking a step in optimizing those pages for AI-powered search. And not to mention the technicals, you want to make sure you add structured data embedded in your site. Now, I have an earlier video that goes into detail about structured data, JSON-LD, so I'll link to that, and make sure you check it out because it does provide a snippet of a structured data example that you can add to your website. This structured data is very important because it tells search engines what your business does. Think of AI like a new apprentice on your team. If you want it to talk about you correctly, you need to give it better training materials. The quality of information you put online directly affects what AI says about you. So how do you take control of this narrative? It's all about strategic visibility. Start by optimizing your Google business profile, your Yelp profile, and major directory listings with service-rich content. If you're not sure what those listings are, I'll leave a link to a Bright Local citation list for electricians. Don't just list electrical services, get specific about panel upgrades, EV charger installation, and whole home rewiring. Create service pages and FAQs that directly answer the questions people are asking AI. For example, how much does an electrical panel upgrade cost in Phoenix? Is the kind of specific content that gets cited. Publish any type of case studies and testimonials across multiple platforms, not just your website. Add structured data to your website using how-to, review, and local business JSON-LD schema. This is the nutrition label that tells AI exactly what your business offers. And track which questions AI tools are answering about electrical work in your area. Then tailor your content to those specific queries. Remember, you don't need to game the system. You just need to show up with purpose. It's about making sure when AI talks about electricians in your area, it's using your content as the source material. Here's something that should light a fire under every independent electrical business owner. Directories like HomeAdvisor, Angie, and Dumbtack are feeding those AI models constantly. In fact, by the end of this video, I'm going to show you an example of that in the Atlanta market. Listings from these websites, they outrank yours unless you outmatch them in content depth and specificity. AI tools tend to favor what they see as official listings unless a business proves its authority in other ways. Look at how franchise sites dominate. They've got schema markup, consistent citations, and location pages optimized for every service area. And they're eating your lunch because of it. You can't outspend these national brands. Their marketing budgets will make your eyes water, but you can absolutely outlocal them. Your knowledge of local building codes, relationships with local inspectors, and understanding of regional electrical issues are your secret weapons. Showcase that local expertise in your content, and AI will start to recognize you as the true authority in your area. Now, let's talk about personality. In a world where AI makes everything sound sterile and the same, your unique brand voice is your differentiator. Generic content leads to generic answers from AI, but a unique voice creates a memorable brand that stands out even when filtered through AI. Use bold claims, customer stories, and strong positioning statements on your site. Don't be afraid to say, "We're the most responsive electrical team in Dallas," if you can back it up. Turn common misconceptions into blog posts and email content. No, replacing a light switch isn't always a do-it-yourself job. Here's why. You can showcase your expertise while addressing what people are really wondering. Create social content that addresses real-world questions AI is parroting, and make your brand unmistakable across all channels. I had a client who always used the phrase, "Safety isn't just a priority, it's our identity," in all their content. 6 months later, that exact phrase started showing up in ChatGPT responses about them. Brand voice works. And the way we got to that point, we made sure that we included that quote on their website and made it clear across all of their different profiles. So those profiles away from their website. So make sure whatever your slogan is or whatever is your unique philosophy to electrical work, that you're making that evident everywhere you're present online. The bottom line, if AI is going to read your content, make sure it actually sounds like you. When everyone else sounds like a robot, the human voice wins every time. In an earlier video, I talk about going to do some pre-implementation exercises for your marketing. So establishing your marketing positioning, establishing a thesis. So again, think of it as a unique value proposition or a unique angle or way that you approach providing electrical services. Then also have some unique offer, some offer that other competitors in your area aren't doing. That's really going to help you stand out as a provider. Now moving on to our full circuit growth method. We've developed this system specifically for electricians who want to control their online narrative. We position electrical businesses to be seen, trusted, and remembered by both customers and algorithms. Our system connects search, content, and visibility strategies to ensure AI isn't just guessing what your brand stands for. The process moves you from a lack of qualified leads to a systematic approach, getting found by the right customers, converting more leads into projects, knowing what's working, and ultimately reaching the dream outcome for your business. The truth is, you can't control AI directly, but you can absolutely control what it learns from. By strategically influencing the information AI assesses, you shape what it says about your business. So how do you know where you stand right now? That's where our full circuit growth audit comes in. We'll check which platforms currently mention your business and how they describe it. We'll review your website for schema markup, structured FAQs or FAQs that are mapped to schema, and AI optimization signals. We'll analyze what ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude actually say when asked about electricians in your service area. We'll audit your content to ensure it aligns with the language and structure AI favors. And if it doesn't, or if you don't have any content, we'll lay out a roadmap to where we know for the next 3 months, this is what we should be focused on to ensure your website, your brand is well optimized for AI-based searches in your area. And we'll help you prioritize content that addresses real customer questions, not generic SEO fluff. This audit connects brand perception to AI visibility and helps you take control of your narrative before your competitors do. At Destiny Marketing Solutions, we help electricians build a digital reputation that earns trust from both customers and machines alike. If you're ready to take control of your AI narrative, book your full circuit growth audit today. You can visit destinymarketingsolutions.com or schedule directly through the link in the description. We're based in Houston, but we work with electrical services businesses nationwide. Remember, it's a simple truth. Own your narrative or someone else will. Now for that expert tip I promise. You can actually train ChatGPT to recognize your brand with a few simple steps. First, create a public-facing About Us page with your name, services, service area, and core differentiators. This is your AI business card. Link to this page from your homepage, Google Business Profile, and Yelp. Use consistent naming conventions across all platforms. If you're ABC Electric on Google, don't be ABC Electrical Services on Yelp. Include that same information in your website's footer, schema markup, and internal blog bios. And here's the real power move. Periodically test ChatGPT by asking, what are the top electricians in your area? So let's just stick with Atlanta, for example. Then adjust your online content based on what's missing from its answer. You don't need to hack ChatGPT. Just make sure it sees you, understands you, and shares your story accurately. Now, I'm going to actually navigate away from the content. As I mentioned, I wanted to do a quick screen share because it always helps to see this information live. And we're going to stick with the Atlanta market. So if you're tuning in from Atlanta, think of this as an extra expert tip. So what I did here, I did a ChatGPT search for Atlanta electrician. I did the same on Perplexity, which if you're not familiar, Perplexity is more of a search and research based tool, but it is growing in popularity. So that's perplexity.ai. Also did the same for Atlanta and for Bing and Google. And then here, when I just type in Atlanta electrician, you see here, if you're seeking a reliable electrician in Atlanta, here are some top rated professionals known for their quality service, responsiveness, and customer satisfaction. So let's pause right there. This tool is pretty much telling you what text it's looking for. So if it's even somewhat aligned with your brand, and if you're based in Atlanta, I would try to weave this language into your website copy, into your About Us page, or elsewhere, because ChatGPT is telling you what it's looking for. So try to add that to your website and across your other profiles across the web. And one thing I wanted to point out here, so let's go to Google. You see here the businesses that are in the Map Pack, Pat Murphy Electric, McCall Enterprises, Mr. Electric of Atlanta. And we see here, these aren't necessarily the same businesses. We have different businesses. So Fred's Heating and Cooling, excuse me, Lightning Bug Electric, McCall Enterprises, and so forth. So there is some overlap, but I wanted to call out that it's just not those same businesses on the Google Map Pack. I know that's really important for SEO, but there are other factors that go into which businesses show up here in ChatGPT for your search. And so what I would do, let's say if you're not in this ChatGPT result, look at where it's being used as sources. So if we're looking at the first result, looks like they're getting a link from their website here. So TE Certified Electricians. And what I suggest here, just look at their content. Look at what stands out to you. And, this is something obviously we can help you with. Try to replicate their strategy on your website. And that's just one example. So they're going to link directly from their website. You can see Lightning Bug Electric. They are the second listing. They're getting a link from Angie. Moving further down, McCall, that links from their website. I wanted to go down here to sources. And let's say if you're just getting started with building your online presence, look at the third-party websites. So third-party sites like Angie, we scroll down here, expertise.com, Reddit. These are sites that if you're looking to build a presence and you're trying to figure out what to prioritize, these would be your go-to sites away from your site to, respond to a subreddit comment or to build a profile. And I want to make it clear that this is not exclusive to traditional local SEO. These are some of the things you should be doing for your SEO anyway. So, excuse me. So these are things that should definitely be part of your strategy. So I see a lot of Angie here. So that tells me Angie would be an important place to be if you're serving the Atlanta market. Now switching over to the Perplexity results. So again, I did a search for Atlanta electrician, and you're going to see some overlap here. So TI, certified electrical, again, that's that same website. So they're doing a great job with their AI visibility. They're not really showing up here in the Google Map Pack. So this is just another way to get in front of them. And one thing to keep in mind when you're going through any of these tools, I always like to look at what's being sourced. And then what I like about Perplexity, it gives you different highlights and notes and services offered. So if any of those are relevant to your business and you're looking to improve your visibility in AI search, I would definitely try to incorporate those into your online presence, whether it's through your website copy, making YouTube videos, creating service pages, and so forth. Also look at this section, what to look for in Atlanta electrician. So as a marketer, that screams to me, I need to have a blog article or some content asset on my website on this topic, what to look for in Atlanta electrician, and make sure that I'm calling out these specific points because obviously they seem to be important for folks who are using Perplexity. Then also look at the typical pricing. People typically prefer transparent pricing. So if you're comfortable in making that or putting that on your website, go for it. I know there could be some reasons to do it, some reasons not to do it, but something to keep in mind. And then the summary, just look at different things that are being called out, different attributes, and try to incorporate those into your marketing. Now going back here to the Google search result. So I've already done several videos about local service ads and the Google Map local pack. But I always like to pay attention to things like Reddit. So look at what questions people are asking there. Those are the questions that could be your blog topics, or if you're not afraid of video topics. Also, always look at the people also ask section. So again, some of these may not be relevant, or they might be redundant. So make sure that you are filtering out what might be irrelevant or redundant. But again, this is your content strategy, whether it's text content, but I would recommend video content. Okay. And then I also like to look at Bing because it does add some additional information. So if we scroll down just a bit, you'll start seeing what we call these feature snippets. So top 10 best electricians in Atlanta with free quotes. So this particular website, it's getting a lot of real estate. You can see how this section stands out versus your traditional search result. So a few ideas here. You can try to build a profile or try to get mentioned on homeguide.com. This is something called Barnacle SEO, where instead of competing with homeguide.com, you use their authority for more visibility for your business. However, as you can see, you're pretty much competing for attention with 10 other electrician businesses in Atlanta. So going back to something I mentioned earlier in the video, you want to figure out how can you out-local these large websites that have these pages everywhere. So you can see here, Georgia, Atlanta, they probably have a page for every even moderate sized town or city across the US. And so what are some things you can incorporate into your content to make it clear to your audience, to search engines, to AI, that you're an Atlanta-based electrician or you're an expert in serving homeowners and general contractors in the area, and make sure that is very clear. So again, that's going to lean on your expertise, but definitely could be a way to compete with these larger websites. I also wanted to call out Thumbtack here. Again, Thumbtack, it could be part of your marketing strategy. If you watch my earlier video about third-party lead generation platforms, I'm not a big fan of them. However, if it's part of your marketing strategy, make sure that it's not the only part. And what you can see here, Thumbtack, they have these different questions. So again, these search engines are giving you the information on what you should be including in your website. You just want to make sure that you are addressing those questions in a better way, or like I just mentioned, providing more local relevant answers. And we can continue to scroll down. That's about it for this page. And so going back to my slide deck, you might be wondering, okay, AI is important. You've probably heard about ChatGPT by now. How many people are actually using these tools? And I can tell you, well, Google is still the mammoth, the 500-pound gorilla. The AI-based searches are starting to grow. And it's not so much there's a ton of activity there now, but you want to make sure that when eventually people are so accustomed to just getting an answer right away and not having to click a link to read the answer, so you're pretty much taking out one step, you want to make sure that you're optimized for that future dynamic and search behavior. And so the time is now to optimize your presence for it. If we're just looking at AI overviews in Google, for example, the last number I saw was that approximately 48% of searches include AI overviews. And that's grown here over the last few years. So make sure that you are staying ahead of these trends. And this is going to be a huge trend for anything related to online search. So if you found this information helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more marketing insights specifically designed for electrical services businesses. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway. I personally respond to every comment. And remember, in a battle between man and machine, the smartest electricians aren't fighting AI, they're making it work for them. Until next time, keep your marketing as clean as your wiring.